What's going on, guys? So in front of me, you were looking at an Alliance Paradigm. This is a 2025 model, and we are out here at Alliance's headquarters. You can see Matt over there with Matt's RV Reviews talking to Joe, who's with Alliance, and you may be able to hear Josh the RV Nerd talking to RV Miles, who is underneath there. We got a bunch of stuff going on out here. We are all really good friends too, so subscribe to all the channels because we all could use the help, right? We can always use the support, and this entire industry, there he is, RV Miles. This entire industry is surrounded by people who are all trying to make more content and more information for you all who are looking to buy an RV or just understand the whole concept of RVing. That said, in front of us is a really cool floor plan. This is what I consider to be the perfect type of floor plan, and people who have followed my channel for a while probably know what type of floor plan it is. That said, I got my buddy with me. David is with etrailer. Him and Tyler and AJ came up to this show this year, just like last year, but David's new to the show, and he's been touring a lot of these RVs, and he's got two daughters.
Two daughters, yeah, 8 and 6.
Yep, and he's been looking at different plans and commenting on how he feels they might work for his family. And we looked at a rear living room floor plan a little earlier, and he said, I love this. He could always use the sofa as the bed for the kids, and I said, you know what? I'm going to show you my favorite floor plan. So let's talk about it. Hang tight. I'll be right back. Hey, is that safe?
No. No, it's not. I'm up here getting high on campers.
Yes, you are. And you've been hopping on all of them.
Yeah. You see a lot of my footprints around here because if I'm going to buy the whole thing, I want to see the whole thing. So I want to know exactly what my money's getting me.
I've seen your footprints on the solar panels, though. What's up with that?
That wouldn't be me. That guy wears shoes a lot bigger than mine.
There you go. Good job, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so we're going to hop inside of this Alliance Paradigm 380 MP. Now, MP stands for multi-purpose. Let's hop inside this unit. I want your opinion. When you first go in, turn to the left and let's take a look at the living room.
Yeah, so the first impressions of this is just like the last one I was in. It's a really open space, which is really nice. You know, you're not going to be cramped. Has a lot of seating for family. Has a nice kitchen for cooking. A lot of space for storage and things like that. And you know, you have the ability to eat at this island here or at the table over here, which gives you a lot of options. And again, space with the family is a big deal, and this provides that space for you.
Absolutely. Now, you can always fold out this back sofa and it turns into a huge, almost a king-size bed. So we were in a travel trailer earlier that actually had a slightly narrower version, which is more like a queen size. But when you fold this out, this is kind of be between a queen and a king-size bed. And by first glance, that's what you would think would be the place for your kids to be, right? That's where they would sleep. And it's perfectly acceptable. I mean, a lot of people have fold-out sofas and stuff like that. But you don't always want to deal with that. Maybe the kids are tired, they're going to bed, you're staying up late with the wife watching a movie, and you know you want to be able to put the kids somewhere without having to get off of the couch and fold this thing out because you still want to be able to recline your chairs, right?
Right.
Let's head on over this way. So that door that is right in front of you is the secret sauce to this RV. So traditionally this room would be called a mid-bunk.
Okay.
But they call it a multi-purpose room because you can use it for all sorts of things. You can even remove a lot of this stuff and turn it into an office or things like that. But for you, what does this room feel like? I mean, how do you think, what's your view on this?
Yeah, what I really like about it is it gives the kids their own space, which I think is important. Being able to get away. Maybe there's times that they want to do an activity away from, sometimes my daughters don't want to be in the same room together, so giving them the ability to separate at times. This is really nice. Having the two spots where they can sleep separate from each other but still be close to each other is really nice. And what I really like is having this space where they can sit and they have a TV, they can watch their own movies, do their own things. So yeah, JD was right when he pointed this out in the last video. This is a really, really good option for families, and this is probably my favorite layout so far.
Also, this folds out into a bed.
Yeah.
So that folds out into a really good sized bed because there's no quick access point from here to this room unless you go down the stairs, which we'll look at here in a second, or the ladder. But this folds out into a good sized bed. This right here can actually retract back up if you want it to. I personally prefer the traditional mid bunk, which I was explaining to him actually as the bunk right here that folds up, and the loft is above everything, so the loft is not accessible from inside of this space. I get what they did here.
Right.
It's nice, but I would prefer this being lower personally.
Yeah, and the other thing I like about this too is that with all the fold out options, if we wanted to bring family members, or if the kids wanted to bring some friends with us, we have enough space with fold-out couches to accommodate, which makes this a really nice space.
Yeah, because if you count it, you can sleep, let's say 2, 3, maybe 2 kids here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If they have a small child that sleeps in between them, maybe even 9. You could sleep a lot of people in this unit comfortably.
It's a really nice space, and like I said, with the open concept of it, you can get around without bumping into each other, and that's really valuable when you're talking about 6, 7 people, is being able to walk around and not have to worry about being right on top of each other.
Yep, and as someone who's just getting their feet wet with the overall design of RVs, let's come out here and talk about some things. So David asked me a question when we first started walking through some of these units, and he said, is this like the automotive industry where there's like a base model and then you can get like the XLT and then the Lariat and the King Ranch where you have different trim levels? And I said, for the most part, no. For the most part, most of the things you see, they do across all of them. And a lot of it is because it is easier to do it that way, right? From a production perspective, if they know that every single one of them is going to get everything, it's a lot easier than trying to read a write-up saying that this one gets specific things. Sometimes, like with the Paradigm, some people might want disc brakes. So oftentimes there will be some upgrade options there. There may be some upgrade options with like the ability to add a third AC in some units. This one already has 3 ACs. It's standard. But on some of the units you saw out there, they said 1 AC standard, 2 ACs optional, or 2 AC standard, 3 ACs optional. So there's been a big shift to put more AC units standard as well as optionally in RV floor plans. It's a huge shift, and I think some of the heat we've experienced over the last couple of years has really been the driving factor for that. But what I wanted to ask you is I wanted to go through some of these things and see how you feel when you see these features in an RV, right? So for instance, soft closing cabinets. So Alliance puts soft closing cabinets on everything, and they use magnetic holds right here to do it. Now, is a soft closing cabinet important to you?
It's absolutely important to me. Obviously it's not at the top of the importance, but when you have kids, they slam cabinets all the time, and having cabinets, at home we have soft closing cabinets, and it really is beneficial. It saves your cabinet from the wear and tear, but also saves you from having to hear cabinet slamming. So it's a really nice touch.
Yep. And something additionally I'd like to add is some manufacturers, and I'm going to bring this up to Alliance to do, they actually put cable stops on cabinets so they don't hit things when they open. Like right now, that's hitting the door of the refrigerator. But some of them will put a small wire at the top right there that stops it about a ½ inch before it hits, just to prevent that from damaging. Because I know that kids do that all the time, right? They'll grab this, they'll swing it open, and they'll just let it hit the door time and time again, and it will eventually damage the door.
Right.
What about soft closing drawers? So Alliance doesn't use soft closing drawers, at least when this video was filmed. They may add it later. A lot of manufacturers do include soft closing drawers. I know when you're building out like a home, they're terribly expensive to add soft closing drawers. They add a lot of cost. But they do use roller glides, which are nice, because even in homes, a lot of them don't use ball bearing roller glides. It's considered an upgrade. But they don't have soft closing drawers. How do you feel about the drawers?
Yeah, I was actually pretty surprised that the drawers weren't soft closing as well, just because all the cabinets were soft closing. They are smooth drawers, which is really nice. They easily open and close. But I was a little bit surprised. I wish that they would have put the soft closing drawers on it.
Yep, and I didn't think about it for a while when it came to dealing with kids. If you have a family. Now, if it's a couple's unit, it's probably not as important because a couple might, adults might just know that something could slam if they're not careful, and they're concerned about wear and tear.
Yeah.
But kids, if you have kids in your RV, they're typically not worried about it.
Right.
All right, so here's a big one. So shut-off valves. This is something that Alliance does, that a lot of manufacturers are starting to do because Alliance does this. And even on some units, they do it in a different way by offering what's called a water manifold system. But they put shut-off valves at every plumbing location inside of the RV. And the purpose of that is if you have a water leak, you can shut a valve off as opposed to killing water to your entire RV. Because in the past, and with a lot of units even, if you have a water leak at your sink, you have to shut water off to your entire RV to fix that, because there's no way to just shut the sink off and do a repair to it.
Yeah.
So how does that make you feel?
No, I think that's a huge feature, especially when you think about if you're at a campsite and you have something go wrong at a certain spot, being able to shut it off at that spot, but continuing to use the bathroom or the shower and other areas, that's a huge benefit. And it's not something that I would have ever thought about until I heard about the feature, and it's a really nice feature to have.
Very cool. So as you walk through here, what are some things that kind of stand out to you?
Yeah, so the first thing I noticed, obviously the open space, but then I look at all the seating, and these are really nice couches that recline, and a lot of space for the kids. The other thing that I see is you just look around and you see all these areas for storage. And when you're talking about the type of confined space that you have in an RV, having those drawers, using all the space that you have for storage and things like that, I think they've done a really nice job of providing space for storage in the units. Having the nice, hidden drawer here, right? Just extra for, remotes, things like that, playing cards, games, whatever you have in there. That's a really nice feature. I love having the fireplace down there, and then a nice big TV. And then I'm a big sucker for islands. So when I saw this nice island right here, when you're cooking and heating, and we always love to have snacks out. So having this large island's a really nice thing. But for the most part, the lighting and everything, it's a really nice feel when you come into this RV.
I'm about to blow you away.
Yes. Oh, there you go. Even more space.
So check that out.
Yeah, nice for spices. Nice little spice cabinet. And then this is pretty close to the cabinet that I had, or pantry that I have at home. So it's like I said, they did a really good job of utilizing all the space, so you can maximize the amount of stuff you can store inside the RV.
Yep, and once you actually tour all of these and you see the differences between what would be considered kind of like an entry level and a higher end unit like this, it really makes you appreciate the fact that this is all assembled by hand. These are people in a factory assembling by hand. This isn't robotic. This isn't going down a car assembly line process. It's going down an assembly line, but it's hands that are touching it with power tools, not robots moving everything around. And for the most part, there's a lot of really good fit and finish.
Yeah.
Right? It's still something that has to be built to be able to withstand the rigors of the rigors of traveling down the road. Hurricane, earthquake, all of that stuff happening simultaneously. Our interstate system and roadways aren't in the best condition, and it's still kind of an amazement to me that RVs hold together at all, considering how much wood, how much structure, hinges, things like this. This is all stuff that has to be built and designed to be able to withstand some level of torment as it goes down the road. It's pretty crazy.
And I think it's amazing too, I've seen, older RVs and the transition that these RV companies have made into making them look more like homes as opposed to like your RVs back in the day is especially like even the molding and things like that, they've really made it look custom and nice.
Yep, for sure. Well, David, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no
Thanks
problem.
for joining the video, and
Enjoyed it.
It's always good to get the perspective of someone who isn't part of the industry, someone who could consider an RV, has a family, and has to consider all sorts of other things other than just I want an RV.
Yeah, it's one of the things. The first thing I look at when I go into an RV is how would the family fit in there. There's a difference between you and your wife going out and traveling versus having a family. So it's definitely something that's the first thing I look at is could my family sit in here or live in here? And this one is, in particular, is a really good option.
Very cool. Well, I'm going to finish it off by going up front, showing viewers who are going to be like, why didn't you show the rest of the RV? Because I think people want to see it. Going up, this is that loft area that you also saw, which overlooks the mid bunk or the multi-purpose room right there. You have your little ladder to get up to it. You have a barn door right here, which takes you into your bathroom. Only one bathroom in this unit. Porcelain foot flush toilet, really nice one-piece shower. Then you have a king-size bed in the master. Your power outlets, really nice, plus a huge closet up front that you can split between a washer and a dryer, which is really nice. And then you have a little seated area with storage underneath it. Very, very nice setup here. Then your smart TV is already mounted. But yeah, I'd love to know what your thoughts are. This is a beautiful unit. Anyways, guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up. We'll talk to you again very soon.